Hi, Sarah. How are
Hey,
you?
Stephanie. I'm well. How
Wonderful
are
to see
you?
you. Oh, I'm doing great. I did that human garage thing. I've only done um, the first
A one-day reset?
example. Pardon? Yeah,
A
the one day
one-day
reset.
with a fully
And
twisted anti-gravity and pellet
right,
swipe.
yes, yes. I love
How
that
did
pellet
that
swipe.
go?
Oh, that pellet swipe is my favorite thing. The other things were very interesting. And I've also done the one for the thyroid because I have thyroid problems. So I thought, okay, I'll do that. And I had a little bit more energy the next day. It was very interesting. I haven't continued with it, but
But
I
Stephanie, tell me more about the human garage or explain it a little more because no one will know what this is.
well, it's something that you turned me on to, of course.
Yeah.
And I tried it because it's all about working with the fascia and connective tissue where trauma and stress are stored, and the muscles tighten up. And in some places, I have big knots in my body where the fascia and the connective tissue have been um, stuck energy wise for decades, 3 decades in one place. So I'm kind of looking at it to enter in and keep moving with it to restore my body and free up the energy that is stuck in that fascia connective tissue. You probably have a better understanding. You've been working with it longer, but I've noticed even in your face, it's amazing the difference in your face. And I noticed that they have a facelift program, and I was going to try.
Well, it's I never thought about fascia before. And then I came across this human garage and I'm just loving it
Mhm.
because we know trauma is stored in the body. There's no point in talking about it. It needs to get out of the body. If you use TRE, if you use breathing, whatever you use, but it has to come from the body to release trauma. And
Mhm.
as you know, I love logic, and there's nothing more logical than freeing up fascia. And those exercises I've been practicing for over 2 months now. And yes, the face has changed. And what I noticed was that there was like a wire around around the mouth. It was so tight. And part of the
Mhm.
exercise is that you stick your tongue into a tight spot in your cheeks, something like, then you do breathing exercises and certain movements. And this is freeing up fascia. And it got really loose on the left hand side. But you know how I sometimes struggle with migraine, and I've been working with this from so many different angles.
Right.
I came across an exercise I will show you at a later stage. But what I noticed is that everything on my right hand side of the head is extremely, extremely tight. So, and then I kept thinking about it. I got this migraine since about 2020. And in August 2019, I was in a bus accident in India. What
Oh,
happened
wow.
was we were going about 100 kilometers an hour, probably even a little bit faster through pouring rain. And I'm certain the bus
Oh,
driver
my
could
God.
not see the street, it was just water. And we hit a pothole. We drove into it at such speed. We were slammed from our seats into the ceiling of the bus, and it was a high bus. So we flew all the way up, crashed back down in our seats. And I remember I was thinking in this moment, this is it. Now the axle of the bus must be broken. I was sure about it. I thought we're never going to continue this journey. And in that moment, I didn't notice anything. But when I went back to the hostel in Amritsar, where I was staying at that time, it was the night after or 2 nights after, I cannot remember when. I woke up at 3 a.m. in the morning. I was in unbelievable pain. I cannot tell you how strong the pain was. I had tears streaming down my face with pain. And it was like the right side of my neck, right here. It was swollen. It was thick, like a man's thick thumb, all the way from the top here down to the bottom.
Wow.
It was like wires, it was like steel. So the next thing was at around 5 o'clock, one of the employees at the hostel woke up and she found me sitting in the common area. I could not sleep, I could not lie, I could not stand, I didn't know what to do. I was just sitting there, tears streaming down, trying to hold my head because I thought I didn't know what to do. And she looked at it and then she discovered that I had like, it's like a mandarin big lump in my neck that disappeared out of nothing.
Huh.
So at the time, I went to a hospital in India and I said, I cannot stand this pain. Something is wrong. It was spreading in my jaw, it was spreading in my arm, and I was just crying from this pain. I couldn't stop the tears. The pain was so big. And well, the doctor, he just said, oh, that's a muscle spasm and you pinched a nerve. It's nothing. It's like, well,
Oh,
to me, it's
no.
something. And he gave me physiotherapy, and I didn't like that. So after 5 times, I stopped the physio because they were ripping on my head. And I argued with them. I said, this doesn't feel right. It just does not feel right. It hurts so much. You're going to rip off my head, but you're not going to loosen anything. And they said, no, it's necessary. And I said, no, everything inside me is screaming that this is wrong. I just don't want to continue. So meanwhile, they did something with electricity to rattle the body. I can't remember exactly how that worked, but I stopped that. And
Is that the TENS unit? Is that what they were doing, a TENS unit?
I don't know, it was something with electricity and it shook
Hmm.
the body. I can't remember to loosen it. Well, it didn't work anyway. It was more than a month of pain. Then the pain eased, but this lump that appeared out of nothing never left. So now I'm starting to think, I mean, it was 7 months later, I was in England and I went to a conventional medicine doctor and I said, I just want to know what tissue is this?
Mm-hmm.
And she just said, oh, well, it's not cancer, so why do you worry about it? It's like she's not been helpful. I wanted to know what tissue is it? What
Right.
am I dealing with from a meta health point if it grew and I knew which tissue, but not being helpful. So I never got an answer. Nowadays, I'm starting to think that all my problems, my migraine on the right-hand side, my closed sinuses, the ear, which is really contracted, that it might be all related to fascia. Because the face is softening here. It is not softening here after 2 months. It is as tight as it was before. So what I did, I have an appointment to go to Sao Paulo to see a specialist on fascia. And I just want to know, maybe it was a muscle that ripped or part of a muscle that does not suddenly appear. Maybe it's a fascia knot. It's right behind the collarbone. And now I'm putting,
Yeah. A
learned,
clavicle.
sorry,
Yeah. I was thinking maybe it's you may have cracked your clavicle or something.
I think it's soft tissue. So maybe something ripped and never grew back together.
Mm-hmm.
Starting to believe my symptoms. They are all on the right hand side. It might all be fascia related. So I'm having to have an expert look on it. In the Humangarage, they explain that the fascia treatment has always to happen on 3 stages: the head, the torso and arms, and the legs. So I'm just doing things in my face. I'm doing the exercises of Humangarage, but I think this might be worth to be looked at by an expert to loosen it once, to give me a starting point to improve and maintain, and maybe do it better with an expert just once to understand those things.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it is just, if we don't start doing things like using the Humangarage, which is free.
Right.
I mean, is there
And
any thing that you can get? They set out to heal the world or help the world heal itself, to get rid of trauma, and it's totally free. I mean, it's
that's what I
enough
love about it.
to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's another gem. And I'm actually combining this with Mark Lauren,
Right.
because
It's
if we don't loosen the trauma, how can our body ever function? And the body weight exercises are not focusing on releasing trauma.
mm-hmm.
And part of self-care is we have to release the trauma.
Mm-hmm.
We all have it stored.
Right. From the day we were born
Yeah, and
and
it just adds
prior.
up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious to see what an expert says. And it's definitely one of my goals. I'm going to go through the entire program of the Humangarage, and
Mm-hmm.
I regard it as that important. We all have to do fascia exercises.
Mm-hmm.
It comes for free. If we really have some serious issue like I might have, yeah, maybe it's worth paying an expert. It's not permanent. Then we can work on it ourselves.
I too have been releasing trauma, but I've been using the Sedona technique. So it's just releasing
So,
energy. But I just find that the Humangarage is the next step up that um, so for me. So I'm really excited about the Humangarage too.
yeah, it even helps with the hair. They
Mm-hmm.
mentioned hair only gets gray if your fascia is tight. Did you know
Really?
that? Yeah.
No. Wow.
It wasn't the Humangarage, it was some other person with fascia, and I wouldn't know if I would find it again, but I just thought this is very interesting too. That aging, what you mentioned, how the face changes, it's just
Mm-hmm.
fascia. So if it's not wrinkly skin, but if it goes deeper, it's fascia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love the Humangarage too.
Yeah.
It's it's another gem. I love
Yes.
finding gems. They
And
make
it's
me happy.
free. It's free, which is so wonderful for people that don't have an income to spend on
Yes,
tooling themselves, going to the gym, that sort of stuff.
we link it.
Yes. Yes.
I think it's another gem.
Yes. I love the gems.